it's Vanessa from The Whole Story. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about some podcasts that I really love and I feel like have really opened my eyes to some forward thinkers, to some new ideas, and kind of kept me motivated in all things kind of self-improvement, health, and morals, and all of those things that we all strive to have more of in our life. So today I wanted to share with you just a couple of my favorites. This video I'm going to talk about kind of more in the realm of health, wellness, and all. The podcast I want to talk about is probably my favorite in this kind of genre, and that is the Rich Roll podcast. Rich Roll is an ultra marathon runner and a really great example of a guy who changed his life, I believe, at the age of 40. He was overweight and out of shape and just, he felt awful all the time. He mentions how hard it was for him to walk up a flight of stairs. He was a recovering alcoholic, or he was still an alcoholic, I can't remember. But he just woke up one day and realized he needed to change his life. So he started working out and he eventually went into a plant-based diet, which has just fueled him to be this kind of mega athlete and role model for other people in the plant-based athletic world, I guess, and also for people who just look up to him for changing his life around. His podcast is focused on him interviewing like-minded people in wellness, in veganism, in creative arts, but also like changing, making, standing for a movement, people that have built their own organizations to help out other people, like just really great interviews with people basically changing either their world or the world of others, which is pretty awesome. I love his approach because he's got such a great, like, chill personality. He's not overbearing, he's not too preachy, which is kind of my favorite kind of activism. It's like, here's the information, this is what I believe, but I'm not going to shove it down your throat. I just want you to have the information, which is kind of his vibe too, which I love. He puts out, I believe they're just once a week. They're usually like hour and a half, 2 hour long podcasts, but they're great conversations with people that are just fighting the good fight. Really inspirational, some great wellness information, great information for you if you're an athlete, but also just great information about how to change your life and kind of live with more passion, with more kind of purpose than maybe you're living right now. So yeah, check out the Rich Roll. One is a pretty specific podcast. It's Food for Thought by Colleen Patrick Goudreau. I absolutely love her. I've been listening to her podcast for years now. She is such a passionate vegan and person who's on a mission to really help animals. This is a very focused on veganism, so it's not as broad as the Rich Roll podcast, but some great information. She's just a great passionate person. She does a lot of informational podcasts. It's usually just her. She takes questions from her audience, so you get kind of like a phone in and ask her questions, and she answers them on her podcast. So it's usually questions on veganism, health, how to deal with people in your life who maybe are naysayers because of your animal rights viewpoints and stuff like that. But yeah, I really enjoy her tone. I love listening to her speak passionately about these issues, and I really enjoy just kind of taking in her excitement for something I believe so strongly in. So yeah, that's Food for Thought, and that's Colleen Patrick Goudreau, so check that one out. The third podcast I want to point out is kind of a wild card, but I think it's a really great podcast for anyone looking to kind of get a bare bones grip on what's going on in the world right now, and that is Citizen Radio. So this is not for everyone. It's a very left-wing podcast, but it's run by two really great hosts. I believe they're a husband and wife duo. They actually just came out with a book called News Fail that just came out as well. I haven't picked that up yet, but I plan on it. So yeah, Citizen Radio, basically it's gonna tell you the facts about what's going on in the world. They do a little bit kind of jokey sketches and things like that intertwined in their kind of news podcast. It's, like I said, it's a liberal podcast, so if that's not your view, it's probably not your cup of tea. But yeah, it's just kind of telling you what's going on in the world without any kind of, filter. It's definitely no filter. So yeah, that's Citizen Radio. The podcast I want to talk about is The Lively Show, and it's run by a female blogger, and it's basically, it varies from week to week, but she's a great host. She really kind of, her motivation is just to help you build a better life, which can be totally cheesy and self-helpy, but I like the way she does it because she's pretty straightforward, and she has a lot of guests on. Her topics range from anywhere from like how to build a wardrobe with 37 pieces of clothing and how to make that last you an entire season, which I think is awesome for us that don't want to spend a buttload of money on disposable fashion, to, you know, lessons learned. She has guests on who have gone through some pretty horrible things, you know, struggled with eating disorders, who have had some really hard body image issues and how they've overcome it and kind of rebuilt their life through their healing process. And that's just a little bit of the topic she discusses on a weekly basis. But I really like her vibe. You know, it's very uplifting. She's a pretty normal girl, everyday girl, but she really does kind of speak to a pretty wide variety of people in her podcast. I would say it's geared towards women, but there's some great information in there, and it's really all encompassing. It's kind of like a lifestyle blog, except for in podcast form. So those are a couple of my favorites. Do you have any favorites of your own that I didn't list? I listen to podcasts pretty much constantly, so I'm always looking for new ones. So if you have podcasts you think I should check out, leave it in the comments below. Like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me. You can find me at The Whole Story everywhere: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr, and I will have that linked below. And thanks for watching. Have a good one. We'll talk soon.